Basketball Society.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fisch's Friday Rant. I'm Alex Fishbein. This is by way of Basketball Society, and this week we are going to talk about Derrick Rose and this potential breakup with the Chicago Bulls. We're going to talk about Westbrook and Durant, and we're also going to talk about some of the other high-scoring duos in the backcourt in the NBA. So, to start things off, Derrick Rose last night faced off against Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Derrick Rose came out and had a very Derrick Rose-like game. He had 29 points, 12 of them coming in the fourth quarter to really help Chicago ice this game and come out on top. And a little bit before this, like a couple days ago, I think it came out from, I think it was ESPN from Windhurst, saying that this breakup between the Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls is already in motion. And that they're looking for other options, as in looking into trades, looking into whatever they can get out of Derrick Rose. But when you watch a game like he had last night, and you see how he can really impact this team's offense, at the very least, not even mentioning defense or anything like that, but when you see this kind of thing, when you see the leadership that he has on this team and how invested he is in this team, it's really hard to think that there's actually a breakup in the process here. It's kind of difficult to think that the Bulls really don't want him. I mean, to be completely honest, I think that it would be more plausible to see the Bulls maybe take Derrick Rose off the bench instead of find some kind of way to get rid of him. We all know he's not the same Derrick Rose that he was when he won the MVP. Everyone knows that. It's going to be really tough with the kind of injuries he's suffered and that he's had to go through. So it's not really expected of him anymore to be that MVP level, because we all know that, like, a big injury to one knee, a meniscus tear in the other knee, gets a broken orbital bone, and he's gone through a lot. So at this point, it is kind of like, everyone kind of like cheers a little bit, even if they're not like big fans of the Bulls. Everyone still kind of cheers because they like to see that Derrick Rose can still have that pre-injury Derrick Rose kind of game. And while it is, I also understand the other side of the story. I also understand that the Bulls might want a guy who's more consistent, who can give them a very solid game night in and night out. Whereas Derrick Rose started off pretty cold, and he wasn't having that good of shooting nights in the beginning, like, few games of the season. And this was his first, like, big game. So I do understand that stance in this situation. But when you look at the whole picture, when you look at the big picture, I guess you could say, he really does a lot more, excuse me, he does a lot more for this team that we don't see every night. He's one of the leaders of this team. He's one of those guys that in the locker room, he's one of the guys that all of the other players look up to and, like, go to him for guidance, because he's been on this team his entire career. He's been here for 8 years. He knows what it's like to give Chicago what they want. He knows what the Chicago fans are like. He's the hometown. He is the hometown guy. So if anyone is going to go out there and know exactly how to run things for this team and how to get them back on top of that pedestal that the Bulls fans are used to being on through the Michael Jordan days, I believe that he is the guy to do it. And even if he can't get back to that MVP caliber of play night in and night out, nights like last night are still going to be very good, and they're not going to be that far apart from each other because like he has been able to get back up to playing shape in the summer. He wasn't nursing an injury this summer that he had to rehab to come back from. So he's already in a better shape than he was the past 2 seasons. Also, with this whole orbital fracture thing, he's still wearing the mask, still going through that. And as soon as that heals, his vision will get better because it won't be as swollen and everything. And things will open up for him in that respect as well, which means that he'll only get better this season too. So it's not like it's not like his career is over. It's not like Derrick Rose isn't going to be able to score and lead the team and assist other players on shots. It's not like he's incapable of doing that. And with this whole thing about the breakup going on, like just right in the beginning of the season, I mean, it's not like the Bulls started off like 0-5. So it's just kind of strange that would come up now, and instead of maybe in the offseason or something. But the other thing is, his contract might not be very tradable. I mean, there will be a team that would probably take a flyer on him if you were going to trade him, or even just let him go in free agency. But with his contract right now, he's still getting paid a good amount. So he's still getting paid like north of $20 million. So it's not going to be that easy to trade him because you got to find someone who either A, has the cap space, or B, can trade away the people that will equate to the kind of cap hit that Derrick Rose would be. So just in general, I don't really see this whole thing like being very. I don't see this whole thing being grounded in a whole lot of truth. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not calling like Windhurst or the ESPN reporters any kind of liars right now. I'm not saying that at all. I just don't think that this will come to fruition as has been reported. I don't think this breakup will actually happen. I don't think that the trade will happen. But I still do understand the basis of that kind of thinking if they wanted to. But moving on to who they faced last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Russell Westbrook has been just outstanding. I mean, ever since last season when Kevin Durant was out, Westbrook just came in and just destroyed the entire league. Just triple doubles, had that whole string of them, averaged crazy numbers, everything, was making shots from all over the floor, doing everything he could to get his team a win. And Kevin Durant said himself that Russell Westbrook is the best player on the team. Which, I mean, one of Durant's calling cards is the fact that he's a humble superstar. But the thing is, I also agree with him right now that Russell Westbrook's the better player on the team because Durant is still tentative. He's not as aggressive as he was before because he's still testing out that injury to his foot. It's always going to take some time coming back from an injury. You know, you always got to test it out, like, can I make this kind of move? Can I stop here and cut this way? Can I jump off this foot and land on this foot? It's always going to be a process coming back from that kind of injury that took you out of almost an entire season. So, as of right now, I do agree with Kevin Durant in saying that Russell Westbrook's the best player on the team because Westbrook has just been pretty much unstoppable. I mean, granted, he has given up some big turnover numbers, but at the same time, that's Westbrook's game. Like, what he gives up in turnovers, he will give you back in hustle plays on defense himself, or whether it's assisting other players and getting other people involved, which is getting them more confidence on the offensive side and allowing them to score more points as time goes on. So what he does give up, he still gives you back in equal value. And just Westbrook his confidence is through the roof right now, and that's always going to be a good thing for Oklahoma City. But when Kevin Durant does reach that level where he's comfortable doing everything again, he will cause Westbrook to come down to earth a little bit. And that's not a bad thing, because Durant's level of play will rise as Westbrook's kind of evens out with it. And if you ask me, that will be the point in time when Oklahoma City is the scariest. It'll be the time that teams around the league should be scared of them the most. Because if they're on that equal level, if they're on that plateau where both of them can fill up the scoreboard, as well as still getting each other involved, getting the rest of the team involved, and doing everything, then they're pretty much unstoppable. And the thing is, they're already the highest scoring duo in the league right now. They already average the most together. And the one night when they faced the Orlando Magic, they combined for more points than like half the league did that night. So they're already pretty worrisome, like as from an opponent point of view. You already, I mean, just their names in general, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, they're both like arguably both top 5, definitely both top 10 in the league. So you already are thinking like, look, they're superstars. Then you got to worry about them still getting that the chemistry with the other guys on the team as well as with each other and getting to that same level. Then they become just an absorbent amount of worrisome. So they're getting better, which is the really scary part, because like I said, Durant's still tentative. If he gets aggressive, as well as Russell Westbrook being as aggressive as he already is, there's not many people who can stop that. Well, like I was saying, with the top scoring duos, with them in the top ones, second place was actually, going into last night, I think it was actually C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. C.J. McCollum was the only other player who scored 20 points in a quarter other than Steph Curry. And we all knew what Damian Lillard was going to do with a higher responsibility for the offense. So these two have really both stepped up their game, and it's showing. I mean, the Blazers have won some games that people didn't think they were going to. And a big part of that is McCollum and Lillard. McCollum has come out and he's showing people that he can start in this league and that he can be the guy to fill in that spot that Wes Matthews vacated. So those two are two interesting players to watch, because they both can really fill up the scoreboard whenever need be. I mean, they both can shoot the three and they can get to the rim, and they still can play the pick and roll as well with the guys like Myers Leonard, Vonleh, and Plumlee. So it will be interesting to watch. And the third duo is obviously Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. They're actually not behind McCollum and Lillard by much. It's like a fraction of a point, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, we all know what's going on there. Steph Curry is just going insane. He's otherworldly, scoring at like a Michael Jordan type of average with 35 points a game so far. And the thing is, with that duo right now, Klay Thompson hasn't really shown many signs of being like the best he can be. So if Klay Thompson steps his game up, then that duo is even scarier than they are now. And just imagine if both of them are on at the same exact time. That right there would be just pure insanity. I mean, you would have both of these guys tossing up three-pointers, probably going like 7 for 10 for both of them each. And they'd be celebrating and running down the court and just going crazy. And the Oracle would be like deafening sound levels. So those two are definitely two to watch, especially with Klay Thompson getting better and better as the season would go on. But out of those, definitely the most surprising one is definitely Lillard and McCollum, and it'll be interesting to see if those guys can keep up that type of scoring. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Fisch's Friday Rant. Make sure you check out all of our other podcasts. You got mine in the Atlantic Files. You got the brand new one from my boy BJ Boyer, who is doing the Lakers Lair, which is a Lakers-specific podcast. So Lakers fans, make sure you check that out. Then you got Ryan Kirk doing Brother Kirk's Corner, which is just all NBA, college basketball, all put into one. Definitely check his out. And that's all we have right now. There should be some more coming on the way. Probably one by Martin and C, their two-guard front. At some point, we'll let you guys know when that's coming out. And make sure you check us out on Rabble.tv, or Rabble TV. It is a place where we can broadcast basketball games as they're being played, and you guys can mute the TV and listen to us bring you the color commentary and the play-by-play. Just last night we had Alec Walt and Martin Sories on there doing it. They did a great job with the broadcast, so make sure you check us out on there as well. And, of course, the website, basketball-society.com, and the Twitter, @bballsociety_. Thank you guys for listening, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.